have brought us to live status now.
Well, we weren't talking about anything important anyway, so.
No, we weren't. I was hoping we could catch it a little bit in you talking about your stuff you were talking about.
Do you guys remember Godhead Silo?
I'm not familiar with that.
No.
Great metal band, a duo, two-piece, a guitar player and a drummer. And man, they just made a hell of a racket. They were amazing.
I mean, for a metal band, those are the essentials. If you have a guitar and a drummer, then you're okay.
Make some noise, please.
Yeah, get that drum.
Oh yeah, that dude.
Get that shit going, and then get some guitar solos. Yeah.
They made some really great dirty metal. It was amazing. Like it's real decent. Even now, like if I go back and listen, which I don't, but if I listen to it, it's still pretty good. But I don't know, man. It was a nice place to be, but it's completely been torn down. The university did the same thing to that town that happened to Berkeley. You know, the university got too big for its britches, tore down all the cool stuff, kicked everybody out essentially to spread out, and now the town is just another annex of Dallas.
Oof, bummer.
Yeah, no, it's seriously a bummer. That place was like, they talk about halcyon days. You know, when a place was great. You know, Austin used to be great. Austin is no longer great.
Now they say the halcyon days because it was like as good as when they used to make the sedative halcyon. Is that? It's as good as taking halcyon pills.
I've never taken halcyon. Didn't know that was a thing.
No, me either. But
what's up, Fantini?
It's legendary.
Well,
it's one of those classic 70s.
Well, it's not just me, you know. Like, there's a lot of people that felt that way about that town, and it's unfortunate. It's whatever. It happens. It happens everywhere you go, though. Thanks, Fantini.
The times they do changing.
Yeah, they're always changing. It is
all right.
Often.
So, everybody, welcome to the show.
Forever.
We are on episode.
You gotta say the show.
I am. We're on episode number 45 of This Whole Everything, a show about
everything.
Comic books.
Oh,
everything.
I got it
running
wrong.
A comic book store in Berkeley, California, etc., etc. You've heard this spiel before. My name is Yule. The other person over there is ATN.
Hey.
And the guy you can't see in the store
is John Cena.
Dun, 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 dun.
And also
dun,
me.
Dun, dun. Oh, and Jeff. Jeff is over there.
Can't see me either.
Can't see Jeff.
Day? Is this a Eugene day?
Eugene is actually leaving.
Oh, so no mukbang?
No, not only that, he chose right now to leave, so it'd be the loudest possible.
Oh,
but there is.
See you, buddy.
There is mukbang, though. We do have some mukbang material.
Yuck bang. All right.
Mukbang, yuck bang, whatever.
No, it's going to be delicious.
It's going to be delicious. It's candy.
It's peachy.
I love those peach gummies. You know the rings?
These are not those, but these are similar to those.
I enjoy artificial peach flavor.
I cannot read Japanese.
Really, you do?
God, yeah, artificial I don't know why. Peach. I mean, it doesn't taste like a real peach at all, but it's a good flavor. It's nice.
All right, very good.
Yeah,
a good peach might be the best fruit.
Greg Allman agrees.
They're hard to get, though. They're real hard to get. Good peaches. You got to get them like off the tree.
It's easy to get a not great one. That's for sure.
That's all they sell at the grocery store.
Yeah, you got to go to the farmer's market.
You got to go.
I want to go to a farmer's market during stone fruit season where they're out there giving you slices, and I'm like, yes, I loved that. I'll take 3 of those.
Yes. It helps to go to the East Coast too. South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia. It helps to go to those places as well.
Agreed. I'm more of a plum guy than a peach guy, though.
Everybody in the chat.
They're also
anybody in the chat. Anybody afterwards? Let us know in the comments down below. What is your favorite fruit?
Yeah, what's your favorite?
What is your favorite fake fruit flavor?
And don't say Yule.
Yule is my favorite stoned fruit.
That's a picture shot. Yeah, I am not as into artificial flavors when it comes to fruit, but Probably like a strawberry is the easiest to get.
Give me that artificial
past.
grape all day.
Artificial grape.
It's just called purple, man.
Purple. Yeah,
exactly.
the purple stuff.
flavor.
Purple stuff, me.
Yeah.
I love grape soda. I love grape
I do
Jolly
too.
Ranchers. I love it.
I like the grape soda. I'm
hearing
not a
an
fan of the
echo.
Jolly Rancher.
On his end.
Oh.
Yeah, we're hearing an echo on your end.
Turn your
my
radio
end.
down, caller.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't. Oh, you're talking about you guys. Hold on. Actually, I had to
Raise
turn
your
my.
hand.
Caller,
Oh,
turn your
great.
radio down.
Do you remember when we were recording the podcast and you were real quiet and I had to turn my volume up?
Yes.
Are you still hearing an echo?
No.
Oh, you know what, Yule?
What am I supposed to say?
I wasn't talking, so I wasn't hearing an echo. But now,
I'm just gonna use headphones.
He'll use his headphones. He'll be fine now. So how are we picking up as far as the people in the chat? Fantinuum said something about ASMR. I'm speaking a little louder now.
Is it time to talk ASMR?
Let's say hi to everybody in chat also. Hey, Jill. Hey, Fantinuum. How's
You're doing
it going?
wrong. You got to do it ASMR style.
hey, everyone, how's it going?
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
You have a great voice. You should totally abuse your powers.
I should.
Yes.
Yeah, I it's the problem is that when I hear myself, I don't hear it as good.
Don't listen to yourself then.
Stuff
Put
your
some
ears up.
earplugs
Yeah,
in.
stuff your
Yeah.
ears up.
Be
So
like
the
Odysseus,
wrestling,
right? Just
yeah, exactly. The Wrestling Council, when I'm on that show, I have yet to re-listen to any of the programs.
why would you?
And well, the
why
thing
listen?
is, if you listen to it, you can find out what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, what you liked about things that you're doing. And
Are you really the best person to make those judgments, though?
not necessarily, but we don't have a whole bunch of people commenting after the fact.
Ask Jill to do it.
So,
Ask Jeff
well,
to do it.
all right, look.
I want to know what the things that I'm doing that
Yep.
I'm like, when I listen back, I'm like, oh, I didn't like that. I
Yeah,
don't
you
care
can-
what anyone else thinks. I only care what I think. So therefore, I only want to do the things that I think are good and funny, and don't do the things that I don't like.
Mhm,
What if you're
mhm.
not capable of judging yourself accurately?
Look, if
Whoa,
you're stuttering,
what difference does that make? What's the accuracy scale on judging myself? Don't I get to determine that scale?
No, you don't actually, because we
What?
live in society.
Oh,
We don't-
shit! We live in a society.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
but
don't
this
get
is
to
the
be the
product
judge.
that I'm trying to put out
Yeah,
there,
we're
not
talking about
necessarily
me-
what other people are trying to.
Me judging my performance or like what I'm putting out into the world. That doesn't. I don't care about society.
So if you're happy with what you're doing, you're good with it.
yeah, exactly. As long as I'm not embarrassed by it, I'm fine with it.
Unless, of
Essentially.
course, I was going to try and do something to be embarrassed about,
You mean like an ice
Yeah,
bucket
well, if
challenge?
this was like some sort of a
like any of this crap.
comic book, if the intention was to be embarrassed, then I'd be proud of this, but it's not,
Sure.
so I'm not.
All right, that's fair.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm proud of it.
I do listen to Jill, actually, just to let you know. She's all, Yule listens to me? Question mark.
Question mark.
I do listen. To
I
you.
haven't listened to your podcast. I apologize for that. But now that I'm about to have a whole lot of free time on my hands, I can start reading books.
Did you get fired?
I got fired from my existing heart valve.
Oh, okay.
And so
Okay.
it's being
Okay.
replaced with a new one.
No shit.
I guess I could say I fired it.
Oh man, I'm
Mhm.
sorry. That's fucking horrible.
No, it was let's just call it a mutual parting of ways.
Yeah, but that's a rough surgery, dude.
Are they going through your chest again?
Yeah, that's basically the only way to get there.
Well, they could go through the back.
They did that when I was a baby. When I had my first open heart surgery when I was 1 year old, they went in through the back. But it's different when you're tiny like that.
Wow.
And they
if
were
you-
operating
have
on a
you
different
hit
part
your
of the heart.
4th decade yet, by any chance?
Yeah, I'm 41
Okay.
years old.
Okay.
I'm about to be 42 in January.
Well, I'm
He's
sorry
getting
to hear that,
heart
man.
He gets heart surgery, and it's not even like the good type. Like, oh, I
There's
ate a
no
lot of
good
butter
time.
Wait, is there a
and
good type?
steak
No.
and drinking, and I'm a big fat heap, and I've been living a life of sloth, and I just seize up and have a heart attack. I need to have heart surgery. He hasn't even gotten to take advantage of that type of needing to have heart surgery. That's bullshit.
I mean, I've lived a pretty hedonistic lifestyle. I don't really have any complaints in that
No,
regard.
but you eat too much hummus for that to be true.
I just like hummus, so
it's delicious. Why wouldn't you like it? You know?
Yeah.
Sequential.
You can like hummus and cocaine. It's
you know what?
Geek says you should make a comic book about this from the perspective of your heart.
And no, okay, I got a question for you guys. If you were walking on a beach and a big old bale of black wrapped in plastic cocaine was there at your feet, what would you do with it?
Take it home.
Just take it home.
Obviously, I would pack it into my truck, and try to get it home. But I mean, hey Corey, what's up?
You mean would I sell it, or would I parcel it out to myself, or would I overdose? Are those the three options?
Overdose is easy.
Is it big enough to dive into?
If you took it home and you unpacked it all into the bathtub, you could probably get in it. I'm guessing. But okay, so I watched a documentary. It was kind of like, it was a documentary of sorts. More of an anecdote, right, than a documentary.
This is not a family-friendly show.
About a guy who
started off so.
Heard a story about a guy who had found some cocaine and was like, what do I do with it? It was in a foreign country, Costa Rica, I think. So he buried it in his backyard instead of reporting it to the police, because he thought that if he turned it into them, he would go to jail.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
So he took it home.
At the very least, they would take the cocaine. I mean,
take the cocaine.
Even if you don't go to jail, you're not getting to keep the cocaine. So
yeah, well, if you tell the cops,
don't tell the cops.
No, definitely. Obviously you don't tell the cops. I mean, they're
the last people I tell.
Yes. So this story was told in the hearing of somebody who got the idea that they were going to go and dig it up and try to sell it in the United States for a bunch of money. Right.
Wait, because he told somebody I buried a.
Yeah, he told it. He told the story around
trove of cocaine.
It's like the old days.
Years later, he moves back to the United States and he tells the story just kind of like as an interesting story around a campfire or a barbecue. He does it all the time. Everybody knows the story. Nobody's ever acted on it until one day this dude gets the idea to go and like dig it up. It was good. It was good.
One fringe guy. Somebody brought their like crazy cousin or some shit, and he was like, "Fuck."
Yeah, exactly.
All I have to do is get to that beach, and I have a fortune in cocaine.
Fortune, yeah, delicious, right?
But like, yeah, that's an insane story. So wait, did that guy?
So how was that coke, ATN?
No, he tried.
That guy was you. Wait, and that
he failed. Guy? No, I never. No, I done stupid things. I never did anything like that. Fly to Costa Rica to dig up a bunch of cocaine. No, he tried and failed, and I think he tried twice and failed twice.
He had a treasure map and everything. X marks the spot.
That tracks. The trying and failing. That was my prediction.
Right. So then he enlisted the aid of this guy who said that he could fly the cocaine back. Just tell me where it is. I'll dig it up. I'll bring it back to you, and then I'll sell it and give you all the money. And then he's like, okay,
sure.
Of course it was a Fed, right? Too good to be true. It is. If it's too good to be true, it is. Just turn away. Anybody that gives you that hard stare when you're telling them funny stories, walk away. Walk away.
You buried the lead here. There's a fortune in hidden cocaine somewhere in Costa Rica,
and it's probably still there.
It's still there.
That's like when
this is like Fargo. Like when I got to the end of the movie Fargo,
is that your friend in the wood chipper? Hey,
I immediately bought a ticket to North Dakota to start
find that bag.
Fence posts.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, I mean, unless it was sealed at some sort of hyperbaric chamber, I don't know.
No, I mean that's how they wrap it in plastic, like no joke.
I guess that's true. It's all duct taped and shit. It's probably pretty tight.
Yeah, I suspect, and I don't think.
But I bet
maybe does it decay?
You go looking for a bunch of crabs, but there's a bunch of cocaine addicted crabs that are just like tunneling in there.
Why are these crabs so friendly? And they keep on just
they just keep going back into this hole and coming back out, and they're like super personable.
Yeah.
Is that true?
And then they disappear back into this hole again, and they come out and they're like, "Yeah, let's chat."
All covered in white powder.
Is it true about crabs or is it lobsters that you can keep them in the bucket without a lid on top? Because as one tries to get to the top, the others will try and pull themselves up by pulling that one down.
Wow.
It won't work on octopus. I know that.
No, no. You can't keep an octopus under lock and key.
I'm not sure how smart crustaceans are, Yule. I'm not sure.
No, but it sounds to me like that's some sort of metaphorical lesson to be learned there.
Definitely there is.
Ants will build bridges out of their own bodies. So.
Oh, yeah. I've seen the ridiculous pictures.
They're selfless. That's the thing. That's the opposite of these. He's saying these crustaceans, which, they occupy hierarchy paradigms, and therefore they are like, whoa, where's this guy think he's going? I'm better than him. If anybody's getting out of this fucking bucket, it's me.
Yeah,
and
me,
then he
buddy.
pulls that guy down, and then nobody gets out ever, and you all get eaten.
Well, why don't we run an experiment? Why don't we catch a bunch of crabs legally, of course, and then find out?
Hey, let's not get into my vacation.
No sex shaming here, okay?
What?
Or what is it called?
I'm going on vacation. I'm going to catch a bunch of crabs legally.
Yes,
and then buy
a bunch of Vegas or something like that. It's Nevada, right?
There's crabs in Nevada.
No,
I'm sure there are.
The wrong kind of crabs, I think we're talking. If we're talking about pubic lice, I don't know.
Sequential Geek, there is nothing I fear as far as my channel getting fined. We don't make any money, therefore there's nothing to lose. But I am worried that I might get my channel taken down if I do something stupid.
Like what?
And that's why you want to. They're talking about in the chat about the sense or letting people know if it's kid friendly.
It's not made for kids.
This
show is not made for kids.
It's not made for kids. It's made for 16-year-olds and stuff. 16
They're not
up,
children.
Right? No, exactly.
They have achieved the age of reason.
Although I heard that they are trying to, in California here, they're trying to suggest that 19-year-olds should be given the juvenile, when they're going to get tried as an adult.
Yeah, well,
they're saying 19 is what they're going for now.
I'm fine with that. That's good.
You're fine with that?
It should be 21, to be honest.
Well,
they can't buy alcohol. Then you know what? Fuck you. You can't try me as an adult.
Yeah. I hear you there. Then there's a lot of laws though that would be affected as a result, don't you think? Like
I don't see that as a problem.
Statutory rape and stuff like that.
Colorado does statutory rape in a way that I really appreciate, and that is if the age difference is more than 5 years.
5 years. That's well, yeah.
So
yeah.
A 20-year-old and a 15-year-old
to 40, like 35 to 40. That's
I think at a certain age it no longer applies.
Statutory anymore. Statutory would have to be 21 then. In your little law, in your little way.
I can see, yes, it would create some problems, but I think those could be reasonably fixed. I think that people that are 19, when I was 19, I wasn't that bright, man. I made bad decisions all the time. I'm lucky that I didn't go to jail.
Right. Really?
I think so. Yeah.
No, I totally agree.
Was that when you were digging up cocaine in Costa Rica?
Dude, I was way older when I was doing that stuff. Do you see what I'm saying? I was still stupid when I was in my 20s.
Yep. Agreed.
So, charging people as adults, let's talk about serial murder. Okay, go ahead, throw them away. But there's a lot of stuff that they're too they don't consider the justice system as a way to change people's behavior, right? It's not a rehabilitatory institution now. It's a punishment system for making money. It's kind of bullshit, and it should go away. It needs to be revamped hard. So yes, take it to 19 and don't try them as adults, for crying out loud. What's the point of being a juvenile if you're just going to get tried as an adult?
Are there times when you're a juvenile that you should be tried as an adult?
Yeah, serial murder.
Murder. Yeah.
Well, even murder. I mean, there have been cases that are just ridiculous. The child who murders his dad because he doesn't want him to beat and kill his mother, right? And they try the guy for murder.
Everything is so case by case. Like there is no. I don't really think there should be like no
hard and fast rules. That's why we have judges.
Some people's circumstances, like a person who grows up with a father who is beating them and their mother, for using that same example, they maybe mature faster and are able to. I mean, it's traumatic, but everyone grows up at a different pace. I'm not saying that they should be tried as an adult ever. No children ever should.
Well, none of our judges should be the type of person that is a bureaucrat. All of our judges should be capable of interpreting the law, which is their job. And lawyers should present their cases and judges should decide. They should not have laws that say, if this happens, this happens. That's just
it's not always impersonal. It's not always about that person's interpretation of the law. It's also
that's their job.
You're talking about politicians. They have to answer to us. And
so
if
do judges.
We go crazy,
judges are voted
we're dumb as heck. It doesn't matter. They've got to capitulate sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, we vote for the judges, so therefore,
I vote for the judge.
Why should? Well, I mean,
there's a vote involved. I guarantee that.
Insofar as you vote for anything, you vote for the judge, and
you vote for a sheriff too.
The judge shouldn't be hamstrung by sentencing restrictions that force them.
Yeah, minimum sentences. What is a minimum sentence? That is. That's wrong.
What's the point of being a judge if you're not actually judging?
They're taking the power from the judge away.
Rubber stamp.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, we've gotten way into the weeds here.
The weeds are what we smoke, though. Just saying.
So, Jeff, you're gonna be gone from the show for a little bit.
Jeff will soon be gone.
Don't say gone.
We'll let everybody know.
You'll be in absentia. Yes.
And eventually I'll be.
He'll be on the show from this place.
From home.
Okay. Is that going to be a technical difficulty for you?
No.
He's done it before,
good.
right?
You're not a boomer.
We already did it. We did all three. What? You monster.
Are you?
The three of us were already appeared.
So
at the same time on the
Jeff, is that the reason why you're getting rid of some of the books that you're bringing in our store now?
No, not really. I mean, that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I'm getting rid of stuff is just because I have too much stuff.
I see.
And I need room on my shelf.
So for everybody out there that's listening that comes into the comic store, I want you to know that we have an announcement.
Uh-oh.
We have a memorial bookshelf that is now in the center of the store where the pillar...
Living memorial. We call it
living memorial. Oh, yeah, sorry. A living memorial library.
I find that distinction important personally.
Yes.
These are half-price books that Jeff is donating to the store.
Whoa, let's not muddy the waters by using that terminology. These are books that we are pricing at half. That are being sold for half of their cover price.
Is this a consignment kind of deal?
You're no Tyler.
I don't understand what's happening.
You know what I mean when I say that. Jeff's no Tyler. These are his books that he purchased wherever he may have purchased them.
Man,
these are Jeff's books. And he's bringing them into our store, and he has purchased a bookshelf that's in the middle of our store where there's this pillar with a mirror. Sorry, people, you're not going to be able to take a look at yourselves right now.
Pretty.
And pretty, but there's a whole bunch of books there. And we are selling them for half of cover price. And anything that's purchased will go to Jeff's account, and he'll get that in credit.
Jeff, what are you selling that I would be interested in?
Well, it's that you would be interested in.
No Gene
Philip
Wolfe.
K. Dick. You're a dickhead, aren't you, ATN?
Yeah, but
I finished my plundering of his material.
So you're done with Dick?
Non-sci-fi.
I will probably come back to it someday, but not right now.
You'll come back to Dick someday.
Well, I can't really leave it, can I?
What would you say? You want Dick or more cock?
Oh, that's hilarious.
You're into more cock right now than you are Dick, I think.
Dick sells just as well. Dick sells just as well as more cock.
Well, it sometimes sells better.
I would say better.
It depends on the cover. If you get the right more cock, you can sell it, no sweat. It depends on the cover.
No, I agree. No one likes sweaty.
They're both in demand. Dick or
hey,
more cock?
Discovery Bay Comics, how's it going? Everybody in the chat, how's it going? Fantinuum, Sequential Geek. If Jill's still around, Corey.
Yeah.
Everybody visit Discovery Bay Comics. It is a great show that lets you know about other comic shows that are on YouTube.
You showed up to a mess. No big deal. But Jeff is selling off all of his earthly possessions for half of cover price. Even the stuff from 1960.
Something like that. See, here's the thing. There are a bunch of books that I want to read, but I want to get rid of.
So books or comic books?
Both.
Both.
I mean, mostly novels, but some nonfiction books.
And there's no Gene Wolfe in there.
Some trade paperbacks and original graphic novels.
He has all 5 issues or trade paperbacks of Exterminators.
Oh, yeah.
And you got to buy all of them together because I'm not going to sell just one of them.
Yep, that's smart.
But I highly recommend anybody to come in and get this. It is one of my favorite books.
That's a good
it's a really great book.
4th wave Vertigo title.
Yeah, it's like 4th or 5th wave.
It's around the same time of Y the Last Man, maybe the second half of Y.
Yeah, probably something like that. It's written by this guy named Simon Oliver.
Yep.
And it has art mostly, if you can believe this, by Tony Moore. Mm-hmm. Tony Moore is very good, but he is usually a 6 or maybe 12 issue run kind of guy. And I think he did about 18 or 20 issues of Exterminators. And I rail about this type of book often. It was originally meant to be an HBO type program. That was the pitch.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. And the guy so it was already settled that it wasn't going to be TV, or the way that this person saw it.
Tuberculosis. Got it.
So they made it into a comic book, and it was very, very good. I like it a lot. The characters are sharp, and it's got really good art, and it's fun stuff.
So that's a perfect example of one that I read that when it was first coming out, and then later on I bought the trades, and now I'm like, do I need to keep those trades? Probably not. I would like to reread it before I get rid of it, but I don't want to reread it so much that I need to keep it in my house.
Yeah.
So this is like a medium place.
How easy is it to replace? If you wanted it again in the future.
Actually, that one probably not super easy.
So that's how I make my decisions about what to get rid of, is print run numbers.
Mine is more how am I going to want to replace it? Am I going to need to? That's kind of why I want to read
the reread value. Yeah, the reread value is big.
Well, he's already lost one book that he wants to read.
That's right. It was a Philip K. Dick, but I put my two Dick books that were post. Or not post.
Posthumous.
They were pre-sci-fi. Oh. They were published later, republished.
You're talking about the 5 fiction novels.
Yeah.
Which one?
One of them is that Oakland one, the Humpty
Dumpty in Oakland. Yeah, I've got it. What else? I mean, I've got these things. If you want them, I'll send them to you.
I don't want
it's
them.
Not the
no, to read. If you want to read it, I will send it to you, and you can send it back.
Living memorial.
Okay, that's fair. But that's the only one that's sold.
Yeah, a library, right?
I'm not so. The whole point was none of these will I be super upset if they sell.
You're not going to put them in your tomb
before I get a chance to read them.
Right.
It's fine.
All right. So my other question to you, Jeff, is this: is that why you've been reading Preacher?
Yes.
Preacher Man.
All right, Preacher, everybody. For anybody that has never read Preacher, I'm going to give you a little rundown on what that book is.
That's me.
That's you. Vertigo started in the middle of Sandman. It started in the middle of Hellblazer, Swamp Thing, and a few other books. Shade the Changing Man. Actually, the first Vertigo book was Death, the High Cost of Living, which is a 3-issue miniseries. But that's not important.
Bacalo?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he did the artwork, Bacalo, or Bacalo, whatever the hell. Neil Gaiman obviously wrote that. Let me share the screen. Sorry, guys.
Those would have been in that bag that I left you.
What's that?
The High Cost of Living.
Oh, yeah. So, Preacher. This was probably the second wave of Vertigo books.
Did they all have Glenn Fabry covers?
All of the Preacher comic books do, yes.
Yep.
So here's a Fabry.
And that's a topic we wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
cover artists.
So, yeah, might as well go to that one right now. Vertigo would often have a specific. Yeah, this was I'm old. They would often have a specific cover artist going on for the book. So let's see. We have.
It was a nice way to tie the whole series together.
Yeah. So Dave Johnson did 100 Bullets, even though he wasn't the artist on the inside. That was Eduardo Rizzo.
Oh, but Eduardo Rizzo did basically the run of the series.
Yeah, he did the entire run. So that was kind of like a theme you're going to see in the 100 or in Vertigo books. So Sandman, Dave McKeon, he did, well, except for in this situation, he did all the art for the covers. There was always a rotating artist in this series.
Yeah, they did an artist per arc.
Yeah,
basically.
per arc. For the first part of Shade the Changing Man,
it was all very, it felt like very predetermined. Like
yeah,
they were like, here's our cover.
He wasn't
artist.
just running to get any artist filling in.
Right.
Exactly. It wasn't, like the seventh issue of a Marvel
it was art
comic.
directed, exactly.
Brendan McCarthy did Shaded Changing Man. Bacalo was the artist on that one. There's another one, just to show you another cool one. He does really trippy stuff. He also worked with Milligan quite a bit, Brendan McCarthy. So that's just to give you an idea. So going back to Preacher, Preacher was written by Garth Ennis with art by Steve Dillon. Fabry did the covers. Let me see. Oh, yeah. They go on to do... So they originally did Hellblazer together. That's where Garth Ennis pretty much got his start in America. He was working on Hellblazer. And I personally think those are the best Hellblazer issues you can read, are Garth Ennis ones. They later go on to do Punisher. Look at that shot. Bam.
Bam.
Welcome back, Frank.
Did he survive?
Did that guy survive? I don't think that one did. Most of the people in Welcome Back, Frank, or any of the Punishers that Garth Ennis writes, usually they die. And
he
they die
so
good.
mad. Doesn't he look angry?
It's funny because, Steve Dillon has a very kind of simple style, and it's almost cartoony. The visuals in Preacher were like the first time I saw a gunshot take someone's face off, and it's like little pieces of flesh kind of hang. It's still kind of comical. Yeah,
very like exploitation, like it's 70s exploitation. It's very Quentin Tarantino. It's very like pulp. It's super pulpy. This whole story, where like everything is so extreme. Everything is, it's that kind of exploitation cinema where the violence is crazy over the top. The depravity is over the top. When characters are like sickos, they are completely degraded, depraved psychos. Like everything is just completely extreme.
So you're never confused about who the bad guy is?
Well, I mean, there's never any good guy.
Yeah.
There's got to be one good guy in Preacher.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So, Jeff, you've read this entirely before, right?
I don't know if I ever read it all the way to the end before. Like, I think I may have run out of gas the last time.
So how many issues or how many trades do
I've
you
definitely
think you've
read all
now?
this before. Like, I'm up to volume 6 right now. I just started volume 6. And, like, yes, I haven't read this in 20 years, but I have read it.
Wow. I've probably only read it 20 years ago.
Yeah, I mean,
And I
I
read it
don't
all.
remember it clearly. I just remember it a little bit.
So let me take you on. Let me try and remind myself with all of you what Preacher is about. You find out that an angel and a demon from hell mated and had an offspring, right?
Correct.
We're going to call it the Word of God right
It was
now.
illegal.
Right.
Angels and demons are not allowed to fuck.
So we have Jesse Custer,
But they
who's
fucked.
who's
And
a
then,
preacher.
okay, so they fucked, and then this thing was born, but it was like it had no mind of its own. It was just pure information and power.
Right.
And then it came to Earth. Like,
so Preacher,
got
Jesse
locked up.
Custer, he is at his lowest point with his congregation. He's a drunk. He had a fight the night before with somebody, and his entire congregation burns up in front of him.
Well, he had a fight, right? Exactly. He had a fight the night before because he was calling out a bunch of shitheels in a bar
Where he was drinking.
Right, exactly. And they had a huge brawl, and so everybody heard about it. So the next morning, like, everybody showed up. Like, the church was full to capacity. Like, nobody ever usually came because he was a shitty preacher.
Yeah.
But this day, everyone came because they were like, hey, this is the guy who, like, called out everyone and got into a fist fight with 6 dudes last night. And they all showed up, and then they all got killed.
Well, that's what they get for showing up for that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Exactly.
And that
is exactly the type of message. Like, that's what this book is about. That type of thing.
I'd probably
so this
enjoy it.
offspring of an angel and a demon enters Jesse Custer's body, the preacher.
For whatever reason, when it gets loose of its prison, where the angels were keeping it prisoner, it flies straight into his brain and kind of nests there.
And he can use and what happens is he has this one part where he's like, he tells somebody to go F themselves. And that person literally tries or ends up doing that to themselves.
All right, and here's the thing that I find completely unrealistic. Because
go on.
There's just no way, no matter how, and I'm going to, pardon my French here, no matter how erect you manage to become, I don't think you could possibly rip that erection off and have it maintain its rigidity to the point where you could insert it into yourself. It. I guess you would have to freeze it, but that wasn't.
What about
flash freeze, and then ping with a hammer and go to town?
Like rigor mortis, doesn't that set in or something like that?
Not until you're dead. He was still alive.
Oh, I meant the penis rigor mortis.
No, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It doesn't have its own separate rigor mortis once you've ripped it off.
It would lose all of its blood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So. Basically, what I'm saying is this whole book is bullshit.
Yep, that's great, but that's that's the thing.
So with his friends Tulip and Cassidy, they go off on a hunt to try and make God answer for all that's been done, basically everything.
Yeah,
he's like.
Yeah,
he's a pissed off preacher, and he's going to
find out is that when they capture this offspring of angel and demon fornication, They put it in prison, and exactly at that time, God basically grabbed his suitcase and was like, "I'm out," and left heaven.
I'm out.
And
okay,
skedaddle back to Seattle, as they say.
Now the antagonists of this story are Air Star, right? Air Star.
Sure.
This guy's like, what's he? He's working for the church. Is that what's going on?
No.
I can't remember.
It's like a secret Catholic mythological cabal. It's like. So they're protecting the bloodline of Jesus.
Okay, hold on a second.
Who did not die on the crucifixion.
So the bloodline of Jesus is this guy right here.
He did not die.
ATN.
He was crucified, but they faked his death. Then they got him down off the cross, scooped him out of the tomb, and scurried him away to where he had a wife and kids and family. And then they kept that bloodline pure for thousands of years.
Got it.
What do you think about this guy in front of you right now?
Inbred, yeah, I get it.
Inbred.
Messiah.
I get it. All right, so there's Cassidy right there. Nice Glenn Fabry piece.
Yeah.
The Saint of Killers.
Cassidy, we just breeze over it. He's a vampire.
Yeah.
Oh, no big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a vampire. Here, let me get you this cool picture of him. There's
vampires are very in the 90s.
Yes,
and there's a whole bunch of
yes, they were.
There's already been several Cassidy storylines that have riffed on Anne Rice.
Yeah. Do you remember Jihad?
I just started volume 6.
Oh, I remember Jihad.
Yeah. Same guy that invented magic.
Invented Garfield. Jihad, the card game based on Vampire the Masquerade.
Richard Garfield or whatever his name is.
They had to change.
Was he the same
name
guy
from
who
Jihad.
invented Vampire though?
Yeah, it's because they had to get rid of Jihad as the name.
No, so he was a different guy.
No, it's all the same.
He didn't create the mythos of Vampire the Masquerade. That was a role playing game, and then Jihad was a card game based on the mythos.
Years later, after Vampire had already been around for a while, and then Magic became a thing, and everyone that had a role-playing game was like,
"Did you ever play Jihad?" And nobody knew how.
Why aren't we making cards?
Why aren't we making cards? Okay, so the Saint of Killers. He is what he comes from. Like God has basically sent him to hunt down Jesse, right? Is that what's going on?
No.
Is he a crazy?
Okay,
stop. Please stop. You gotta let Jeff tell the story because I don't think you know the story.
It's too much. This is just some guy. He's has to do with Garth Ennis masturbating over the Western stories. He loves Western so hard. And what's more hard than a hard, nameless killer who just kills everyone in sight all day, forever, for eternity. And then he killed so many people for so hard that the angel of death himself asked him to take over his job and keep killing forever for no end until eternity. And how badass is that? Love Garth Ennis.
That dude has like endless supply of bullets.
It's so badass and hardcore and 90s and extreme and awesome and deadly. Yeah. It's great. I love it.
That dude shot the hell out of people.
Guns forever.
Bang, bang.
If you're into that kind of thing.
Bang, bang.
Oh, yeah. He's also unstoppable. I mean, he's...
Sure, because he's the angel of death now. Because the angel of death gave him his job. Yeah. And then he murdered the devil in hell because he's such a badass.
So these are the people that are coming after Jesse and his friends.
I don't know if you can tell, but I'm like, I can't handle this anymore. I'm having a hard time.
He's binging it also, so it's totally not fair.
I guess. But here's the problem.
Right.
Garth Ennis is guilty of one of my least favorite things, which is wanting to have your cake and eat it too, which it shouldn't. It seems like that's the obvious thing. If you have cake, the only thing you should want to do is eat it.
Yum.
But in this case, I'm speaking metaphorically. and like he's doing this great critique of America and Americana and what it means to do all of these super American things. And this is a fucking foreigner, by the way.
A foreigner.
This is Northern Ireland.
Irish
Send him back.
point of view on what it's about to be American.
Some queen fucking proddy that I don't care about personally.
Hey, don't knock the queen.
Anyway, he's out here. He's trying to make fun of all these American tropes, and like he's clearly what he would probably call taking the piss.
Yeah.
But he's also loving it.
Yeah.
Like his main character is like, I don't know. He's just playing both sides of the field in a way that I don't like.
Can you explain that? Because I don't understand what you mean when you say have his cake and eat it too and you don't like it. What's he doing specifically that you don't like?
He's criticizing a thing that he's engaging in and also like nudgingly winking saying this is cool. Like, okay, ultra violence or whatever. He's critical of it. He's critical of this hyper toxic masculinity, but at the same time, he's winkingly, nudgingly saying, I also think it's cool. Like that's the subtext.
Yep. All right. I get you.
He's constantly having.
He's doing it with a lot of different things. I take it. You said he loves Westerns and he's got like super stereotypical hyper violent Westerns.
And he's also got the Duke involved.
We need to get a performative dance
Who's the Duke?
From you.
John Wayne.
John Wayne. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, the Duke's in it.
Duke City. That's where I live.
He's a hallucination.
He is. Which is very Tarantino again. You know, like he'd use.
Oh, this whole thing is very Tarantino. It's all so 90s. It's like so.
All right, here. I remember. All right, so
extreme.
Zippo lighters were really popular in the comic store.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And Comic Relief would have the Zippo spinner.
I remember.
And they were like Conan and Milk and Cheese and Devil Boy. But what they didn't have is anything cool like Superman symbol. Or even better than that. In Preacher, there is a lighter that Jesse walks around with. And what does it say on it?
It says fuck communism.
That's right.
And I have to say, fuck that.
And wouldn't that, but no, seriously, wouldn't that have been at the height of when we were selling Preacher, been able to sell to all our smoking people and ourselves?
We already know comics industry's out of their mind. Okay, we know that because, for example, that, but also
DC won't do that.
Oh, they won't put themselves on a lighter?
No, they wouldn't.
Good.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
But it was pretty smart. I mean, it would have been a smart way to go.
But like, okay, so that's the other thing is like, it's satirical while embracing the thing that it's satirical of. That's what I'm trying to say. And I'm sorry that I didn't write down a bunch of good examples of it, but
no, that's fine. That's fine.
If you read it, you will totally see what I'm saying.
I think I'm getting the gist.
Obvious. He's like, right. And it's cartoonish. Like all of the stuff is very cartoonish. Like he's literally lighting a cigarette every second. Like there's a scene where he comes out of a like he's got a huge fucking python around his neck and he's in a voodoo trance. And like he comes out of the trance in the middle of this gunfight between all these other people and he's lighting a cigarette. In the next panel after he wakes up, he's lighting a cigarette with his Zippo lighter, like in between when he's about to punch somebody in the face or something, shoot their nuts.
Didn't he at one point?
I'm sure he's gonna like. It's not gonna be too long before he literally pulls someone's testicles out because like it's just like they're having a hard time now elevating, heightening,
escalating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like there's the party where everyone's fucking an animal and like just it's an orgy of the human animal dope shooting orgy. It's just like this is volume 3. Where are you going?
I gotcha. And how many volumes are there total?
9.
And how
He's
many
reading the smaller ones.
How many are you selling?
I'm reading the old ones, and that's why I'm going to be selling them all, because they're not worth anything anymore, because nobody wants these.
Not these versions.
Everyone wants the ones that are 2-in-1.
2-in-1.
Of these in one.
2-in-1.
Okay.
Anyway, that's all I have to say about Preacher so far. I will say that it's getting, like, the parody aspects of it are getting more entertaining as I go on. I think because I'm getting maybe a bit numbed to the ludicrous nature of all the bullshit. So we'll see. Well, I'll check back in with you the next time I talk to you. I'm sure I'll have read the rest of them.
The one thing about Preacher is that it is obviously, again, we have a Euro writing an Americana piece of a graphic novel literature.
Yeah, it's all about the American South. Right. It's about Jesus. Although
did you know there was
it's more
inbreeding
about
down
Catholicism than it is about real Southern
true.
Christianity.
No, because there's the flashback story about how Jesse's raised by his grandmother. And let me tell you, she is French. A piece of work.
They're French, and so they are Catholic. And so that is true. So his whole background is Catholic.
Yeah.
And all of the mythology of I was going to say show. I never watched the show, obviously. But all of the mythology background of the series is Catholic mythology, which
that was
I'm also like, I've been steeped in that since I'm a child. And then so like I got into Catholic conspiracy theory of this type that they're trafficking in. I got into that when I was a teenager.
You like Dan Brown?
Even I mean, before Dan Brown was ever writing stuff, I was into Holy Blood, Holy Grail, which is, I
only read another
fiction that gets shelved in nonfiction.
It has a lot of Catholicism stuff.
Wait, what?
Another roadside attraction.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. That
it was also big at that time.
Robert Anton Wilson's Illuminatus stuff.
Oh yeah, well,
those are fun.
The other thing about Preacher is that it is a Western being told. It's a modern day Western story. When you get to the end, you'll be like, "Oh, that's very." I mean, some people don't like it. I say, well, you can't accept the fact that it's been this way all this time, and then have a problem with it at the end. But
are you telling me that he's gonna ride off, slumped off in the saddle, and somebody's gonna be?
I think there's gonna sunset.
Jesse!
Let's just say there's a sunset. Yeah, exactly.
Isn't there a part where he's like battling lung cancer?
No, that was Hellblazer. And that was Garth
Okay.
Ennis's first story. He, on the first issue, at the end, you find out that John Constantine has lung cancer and he's going to die.
Okay.
And it's like, what? And I guess Garth Ennis is a very serious hater of smoking.
Yeah, well.
Which is funny because he got really popular doing Hellblazer. And after John Constantine figures out a way to win, he still smokes.
In Preacher, everyone fucking smokes nonstop.
I couldn't watch Madman because of that.
Well, actually, I don't know if Cassidy smokes.
I'm sure he does. He definitely drinks.
He definitely drinks. But yeah, they definitely both smoke nonstop.
Yeah.
Which is in line with his MO of going over the top with everything in order to make fun of it or make it disgusting.
Right. And also of being Uber 90s, where everyone was smoking always.
Without a doubt.
It was a for me personally, it was a
I just
substitute for having to have a personal character.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Sure.
Oh, also I could leave a situation and go smoke, so that was kind of cool.
It was like getting a private break every hour, that non-smokers just didn't get.
Reason to leave the store if I'm not smoking a cigarette.
I gotta go take a cigarette break. They should have taken those out of our pay, is what they should have done.
They should have given them as a raise.
To everybody that didn't smoke. Do you smoke?
Just have it in a bowl.
You're going to take breaks a lot, so I'm going to give this guy more money because he does not. That's incentive to quit right there. Well, so is lung cancer.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Here's the FCC censoring smoking. I don't know if it's as much as that, but
the Federal
whole
Communication Commission.
They've been working on the youth of America for a long time.
The war on drugs.
Advertisements. I remember when I did smoke cigarettes and one of those would come on my program, the first thing we do is light up a cigarette. Well, time to smoke a cigarette. Oh, the one where the ciggies are raining from the sky. And it's like, oh, what a dream that would have been. That doesn't sound bad at all. No, I hate smoking. Boo.
I'm glad I quit.
Everyone was smoking on Johnny Carson. Oh yeah. He had the Pope on one time, and that dude had a cigar.
So what? Everyone was smoking on Mike Douglas. He wasn't.
Oh
cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. So, Preacher, as we're going right now, what do you think of it? You're like,
yeah.
You just keep going on.
I'm on the fence. I have to see where we end up with certain of. Where we end up with Jesse. I got to see where Jesse ends up, and that will determine how I feel about this book. I mean, I love Steve Dillon insofar as I think he's a good fit for this. I didn't care about their. I read a lot of their Punisher stuff, but I can't care about Punisher. I'm more inclined to care about this, which is something that I don't even know. Like, to just give an original story a shot over Punisher, which I come into disliking.
Let me tell you, when Preacher was first coming out, it just felt so fresh and different than anything else that was in comic books at the time.
Right. And I understand that.
Was it exciting?
Part of my reaction to it now is how dated it seems. Like it seems it's very of its time.
Yeah.
And it like part of the reason that it felt so fresh is that it was a reaction to the other things that were happening then. Yeah. And so now it doesn't.
Everything was violent in the 90s. There was every comic book had blood or red or death.
I'd like to point something out.
Pull in it or shoot. Yeah.
That was the first televised war was in the early 90s. Right?
Yep. I remember it.
I do
too.
I mean, what about Vietnam?
Well, no,
it wasn't televised.
Live footage. Vietnam's television
was not televised.
Was highly curated by the government.
People died on camera.
But more so.
I think that was reporting, dude. That was not like I don't think it's the same thing, man. I just don't.
No, I agree. It's not the
there was a lot of film of Vietnam, but like we saw the rockets being shot and destroying cities on live television.
Yeah, it was live.
It was live.
The war was live.
I hear what you're saying.
That was in the 90s.
It was also
yes,
only 15 minutes.
They were constantly getting reports. Once the war was in full swing in Vietnam, they were constantly getting reports with the evening news every single night.
Look, if CNN wasn't a new network, that war wouldn't have been televised near as much as it was.
Well, it's just a sign of the times, right? That's the world that the 90s comics were written in.
No, if Ted Turner hadn't been so angry at Jane Fonda, he wouldn't have been so hardcore about pushing war coverage, live war footage, 24 hours.
Did you see Jane Fonda? I can understand being upset.
I've seen Barbarella.
Well, she did not come back with those exercise videos.
Dude, I don't need to see that. I've seen Barbarella. That movie is her Princess Leia, right?
Right. Sure.
From Return of the Jedi. It's her brass bikini, that movie.
I don't know. Yes, I'll just agree.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, as my understanding is that she has a similar relationship to that as Carrie Fisher had with the brass bikini roll. Yes.
Like the attention, hated the doing it. Is that what it was?
It's just kind of iconic for her, and that's where she. I mean, that's what people
Well,
like.
you know,
I don't know.
Iconic, useful.
Being iconic is cool. Sometimes it's not, right?
I guess.
Well, you know,
you're taking down the.
What happened to the rails that we were on? I feel like we've been derailed. What happened?
Oh, we're derailed.
Okay.
I'm switching over.
So I like weeds. That was Preacher. Was that all 9 volumes? Did we just get a summary?
No,
it wasn't all 9.
I told you I'm only on the beginning of volume 6.
So this is the one.
I have no opinions on volume 6 through 9.
This is the one.
Read them.
Oh, I have. Yeah.
I mean, I've read some of them.
I can't wait till he gets back and reads Salvation. This is the one I always mention because it's such a departure from what he's doing. And a lot of people find it upsetting. So looking forward to that.
Frankly, though, binging it is different. And like at this point, a departure.
Do you think it's a mistake?
A departure would not be a bad thing.
Yeah, that's true. That could be the case.
Hello, Bruja.
It's a different reading experience.
Bruja's here.
Whoa!
We've had a full room. I want everybody to say hi again to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Social Circle Gaming.
Can you pull up an actual list of the people that are in chat?
So I'm not going to see her.
If I can, I don't know how.
All right. Well, hello, everybody.
Well, I just remember who was in here. We had JB. Bruja's now here. JB from Discovery Bay.
Oh. I see.
Well, who were you thinking?
James Brown, the hardest working man in comics.
Oh, I like James Brown. His music, excuse me.
Yeah, you got to separate
I don't
that.
think
you do. He's a strange fella.
What, like, who's the glass bottom boat guy?
Have you ever been on a glass bottom boat?
Not that kind.
I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it's just called a glass.
When they take a poopy.
Talking about Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry, that's the one. That's the guy.
Uh-huh.
Let's do it that way. Oh, wait. Let's do it that way. All right, everybody. This is the review part of the show. We'll try and make it exciting for those of you that don't care.
How do you plan to do that, actually? I want details.
I don't know. We'll just talk about other things, really.
All right.
This is a pretty
off-colored comments.
I'm going to run through these anyway. So I'm just going to tell you my I read a lot this week. Not only did I read 2 chapters of a book.
When did you have time, bro? Seriously.
I don't know. I just did.
Okay. So this is set precedent, though. So now the expectation is that you are able to read a lot.
No.
Yes, that is now the expectation.
This is more of a 8 or 10 day period as opposed to a 7-day period.
Where did you get the extra? Never mind. Go on.
Second issue of Ghost Rider came out a couple weeks ago, and I finally got around to reading it. I am not the biggest Ghost Rider fan, but I do like Ed Brisson.
Now, this is the one where he's riding around the streets with his head on fire.
Yes.
He's actually walking more than riding.
He lost his bike.
Also, Aaron Cooter. The Cooter is the artist, but he doesn't do all of it.
Love that Cooter.
But there's some fill-in art, but it all looks very good and it's seamless. The idea, the premise is this: we have Johnny Blaze, who is the king of hell. He's leader of hell. And a whole bunch of demons have escaped to Earth, so he's going and trying to find them. In doing so, he has recruited the aid of Danny Ketch, who is another former Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider 2.
He owns a bar, and he finally agrees to go along with
It's called Catch as Catch Can.
Is that what it's called? Catch as Catch
No,
Can?
I just made that up.
That'd be better than it probably is. I forget what it is. It doesn't matter. It's just a bar. Needless to say, there's fighting and demons, and I liked it. There was a hook at the end that's really bad for Danny Ketch. So if you're a fan of his, you might be sad. Pretty good book.
Who's a fan of his, though? I mean, come on.
I don't know. I mean, Ghost Rider, like I said, it's never
He's
really been my
90s
favorite.
Ghost Rider. 80s, 90s Ghost Rider.
Right. Yeah, 90s, yeah.
Yikes.
Yikes. All right,
that was
guys.
when Johnny Blaze came back with no fiery head and a shotgun that shot hellfire. Everybody loved that. He had a ponytail and a shotgun and a motorcycle.
Are you thinking of Nomad?
No. I'm thinking of Renegade.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. Okay. So Grendel, Devil's Odyssey, number 2 of 8, is written and drawn by Matt Wagner with his son Brennan doing the coloring. Yeah.
It's a family affair.
The human race has gotten so bad on Earth that they are looking for another place to settle. And this Grendel is taking
this
the
takes
DNA.
Place in 4 years from now, I assume.
Anyway, he's trying to find a land to inhabit Tate, or that's inhabitable for us. And there's basically this whole life. If it was funnier, it would be Gru. You have a setup at the beginning. You find out why it can't work and what he has to do at the end to get away. And then it's like leads to the next story.
Oh, nice.
But and I laughed when it happened, but it's devastating and horrible. And I don't really want to tell you too much about it, but the story has to continue. So this is not a land that Grendel can use.
Sure.
But a very, very good issue. I like that one a lot. It's a good standalone if you just want to pick an issue of it up, or I have the first one also.
Did you read the first one?
Yes.
I love a Grendel that is written and drawn by Matt Wagner.
Oh, it's so good. I love his style, man.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
And you know what's cool about a Dark Horse comic? As long as I'm in the story part of the book, yeah, him too. As long as I'm in the story part of the book, I don't have to worry about advertising. Anyway, it's really cool. Good book.
That's right. But at the back, you'll get 6 ads for Aliens and Hellboy comics.
Yeah, sure.
Scott Alley will be writing them.
Jeff Lemire has a brand new comic book. And stop writing already. Jeez.
5? Wait, no.
He's
got time on his hands now that Inferior 5 got shortened.
Yeah, it got shortened.
6 issues.
Exactly. He felt the sting of working with Keith Giffen there. Inferior 5 is a 12-issue maxi series, and on the 3rd issue it says 3 of 6. So we'll see what happens there. Family Tree is an Image comic book, and it will last as long as Jeff Lemire is willing to lose money. It has art by Philip Hester, who's good.
Philip Hester can get it done.
He can get it done.
I'm sure he's not expensive.
Well, I mean, you know, he probably co-owns this also.
Well, that's great. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Phil Hester doesn't have a lot of demands on his time. No offense. I like Phil Hester. Where's Andy Parks, though?
Where's Andy Parks? So this woman has a problem kid in high school. She has a younger daughter, and her younger daughter is developing a rash. At the end of the story, a tree is sprouting out of her back, and I don't want to tell you too much more. But there's this guy that shows up with a gun because, you know, preacher. Anyhow, Jeff Lemire is one of my... He is so solid. If he's doing something and I'm not even remotely interested in it, like Family Tree, it's going to still read very well. And
solid as a rock?
Pardon me?
Solid.
Solid as a rock, exactly. So, anyway, good book. Far Sector number 1.
Wait, is it black and white inside?
No, it's color.
Oh, okay.
Far Sector #1 is written by N.K. Jemisin with art by Jamal Campbell. Jamal Campbell most recently worked on Naomi with Brian Michael Bendis.
Oh,
N.K. So that was a creation, and then this is a new creation for Campbell. So he seems to be the kind of go-to person when somebody of note is coming into the company. Yeah, exactly. This is a brand new Green Lantern. Most people say, yeah, I know, a Green Lantern, because of course there's another Earthling that's a Green Lantern. You only have one.
Because this is Young Animal, we are to assume this is multiversal Green Lantern, right? Like, this is not a Green Lantern in our universe.
I don't know if that's necessarily true.
Young Animal universe?
Mother Panic is in the DC universe, even though she was Young Animal.
Oh,
so that means there's a person.
So who knows?
Yeah, exactly. I assume it is part of the unclear as of right now.
It could be any time, any place, any universe in the multiverse.
Well, she seems
it doesn't matter. The point of it seems to be putting it way outside of
the very edge.
Even if it's in the DC universe that we know as our primary DC universe.
Right. She's not using tons, is what you're saying.
Right. No, the point of it, the whole, like,
the Dominators aren't going to get involved in this story.
Right. Exactly. And that's a plot point of the story, is that they are so far out on the edge that, it's a new sector, basically.
Right. So we have a brand new Green Lantern, and she's on this world. And so there's 3 people that make up the citizens of this world. And they're called what? The Trinity? No, not the Trinity. They're called, oh, shoot. Anyway, they're called something with 3, like Trinary, but that's a Marvel character. Anyhow, there's a murder.
She's a mutant.
She's a mutant. There's a murder, and we're also getting a lot of so we're getting the different characters that are involved in this story. We're getting her origin doled out as the book is going on also.
Yeah.
I can't remember what her name is. It's kind of like, anyway, it really doesn't matter. I'm just going to call her Green Lantern right now. It's like Minion or something. I like the designs of this book also.
I love this book because it plays into exactly what I love about N.K. Jemisin from the one trilogy of hers that I read, which is
Hugo award-winning N.K. Jemisin.
Correct. That was not the trilogy that I read, the Hugo award-winning one. I read the one before that. And so I can only assume that the second one that won all the awards is better even. But she's so great at world building, and she's setting a bunch of tables in this
I agree.
issue where it's just like, I have every confidence that a lot of this stuff is going to pay off, because, I've seen her write a trilogy where each novel kind of expands, and then the second and then third novel expand on those, and then they also expand within themselves. So
you were happy with her writing, even when she was
really good at world building, really good and expanding the
stuff that you really liked is early work.
Correct.
And
well, that's all he has.
I mean, I've only read her first trilogy, and then she wrote a second trilogy in which all 3 of the books won awards.
Yeah, back to back.
I personally, this book has a lot of potential. A lot of potential. It is not just driven by the artwork. But if you were only the kind of person that liked art, you would be very thrilled with this book.
Yeah.
And if you're the kind of person that wants story, mystery, because again, we have a murder to solve, and also a person that's a fish out of water kind of story also. Yeah. It's all in there. And I think it's good. Good first issue. Very promising.
Yeah. Agreed.
And 12 issues, so a whole year's worth of a book that I'm really looking forward to. If I had one complaint, it'd be more as selling a comic book. There isn't anything in it that makes me need to have to read it monthly. There's probably going to be a lot of trade waiters for it.
We'll
is what I'm
see
saying.
if she gets better at like doing the month to month
Right.
cliffhanger.
Yeah, the ending was kind of not cliffhangery.
Right.
Yeah, it felt like it was.
I agree.
attempted.
It definitely, like, I read the first issue and I was like, this is great and I really want to read this and I think it's going to be good. And I was like, so far, there's no reason that it couldn't or shouldn't have been an original graphic novel.
Right.
That was just like, 250 pages or whatever.
Right. People would be really going crazy for it. Next up, we have Guardians number 7 and number 8. This is written by Donnie Cates. There is a new artist, Corey Smith. Really good work. Really good work. Look at that. Whose hand is that? Oh, no. So anyway, there's this church. I forget what they're called. They're like the something, the Universal Church of Truth. Those are the bad guys. And they basically destroy all these novas. And they do it by, like, invading your mind and making you want to join with them.
Ugh.
Sounds horrible.
I hate that. But that's how churches do.
That's how they do. The first 2 issues are really good of the storyline.
I mean, Preacher will tell you the same thing. That's how churches do. They join with your mind.
So Guardians is very much like Preacher, is what we're saying. Maybe the art's better, but less violent, and there's not as much cursing, unless you count the stuff, the symbology.
There's like the F word count in Preacher is above and beyond even what we normally accomplish.
I can count to 10.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Maybe not this episode. Anyway, Guardians is good. I'm not a big Marvel space fan. There are some that are classic that I love, but mostly I like, X-Men and down to earth kind of stories. But these
what about when the X-Men are in space?
That's one of the times,
Okay.
Right. Guardians is good though. I like
Starjammers.
this storyline, and I'll probably finish it up. I read Inferior 5 number 2. That's the one we were saying is a 12-issue series. Au contraire.
Was.
Number 3 came out, but I haven't read it yet because I'm behind. This was a good issue. I liked it a lot. I can understand why most people aren't going to want to read something like this. And Lemire is helping write.
I can too, but I understood why most people wouldn't want to read something like this when I first saw the very first Diamond ad for it. What I didn't understand was why DC didn't understand it, and they were soliciting it for a 12-issue series. Like I was like, how do I know what they're doing better than when they know what they're doing?
Yeah, really. Well, they were throwing GIF in a bone,
not?
maybe.
Yeah, we're gonna throw you some like. Look, we owe it to you.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a really good story, though. I like it. It doesn't mean anything to the grand universe of DC. Definitely not now. It references 1988, back when there was this storyline called Invasion, this is following that. Yes. And it's cool. But again, I can understand why most people don't care. Dr. Doom number 2, I read that.
Like us. Ooh.
Yeah, for people like us, it's great. Dr. Doom number 2 was good. I think I already talked about this, but I don't know. I talked about it in a preview.
It up when you were.
He turned himself in after Latveria basically blew up this machine.
Up. Yeah,
and it's him escaping and joining forces with Morgan Le Fay. There's also Kang involved.
Now, is this Morgan Le Fay?
Who's also in Excalibur?
Yeah.
It's not tying in, but it is definitely the same one. Yep. Quality control.
Somebody get the editors on the phone.
Anyway, it was a good issue. So that's DC
sorry, I couldn't keep a straight
and
face
Marvel.
on that
You're being put on notice there for those. I read Hulk 23, 22, and 23.
Yes.
This has been a good series. I've been trying to catch up with Jeff, who read 25, 26.
I've read them all.
And 27 comes out tomorrow.
Ooh, and wait, it does?
Yeah.
Shit, I got to read that. But I also read that Carnage tie-in, which is really part of that. That's a trick because it's part of this story. And if you're a reader of the Immortal Hulk and you didn't get that Immortal Hulk Ultimate Carnage tie-in, you fucked up. But there's a chance to correct because I
still have a few of them left. Yeah, it's a one shot, but you're in
part
Immortal
of that
Hulk,
story, if you're reading that, you should read this.
So you say it's part of the same story. Would that mean that they would collect it together eventually, possibly?
Well, that's
what Marvel's gonna do.
Who knows? Yeah, that's the problem. Is like those kind of decisions are out of our hands.
As I'm catching up to where Jeff has already read, I feel that the books are really ramping up to that. And I only have 1 or 2 more issues to make that happen. So I'm happy. I've enjoyed this story.
So what do you got? What's happening here? I can't
see
any of
all right.
pages.
So what happened was this Fordian guy he's the new Thunderbolt Ross. In fact, we in the 22nd issue we got to see his origin basically, or the things that made him do what he wanted to do. And what did he do? He took Rick Jones out of the Abomination body, which is like ridiculous to even think about, and he put himself in, which is even more ridiculous to think about. And he did that because, hey, if you're gonna you got to be one to beat one,
Hey, if anybody's going to be the Abomination, it's going to be me.
Exactly. And the Abomination has this, like, as you can see right here, like fingers around his face for a head. And it's just like really creepy looking. And our good guys, if you can call them that, are like going to bounce on in and do what they need to do. And they get surrounded. And then there's a big old fight. So this 23rd issue has been a big old fight. It starts off with the reporter who's been following Bruce Banner around.
McGee.
Yeah, McGee, which is the name of the guy from the television
TV show.
Yeah.
You won't like me when I'm angry.
She talks about the first time. She has often talked about the first time the Hulk, she has seen the Hulk, and it basically ran through her house. And as a result of it, all this stuff happens, and her dad dies a few years later, and everything has like led for her to be in the situation she is right now.
Sure,
and it's very dangerous.
I mean, you could say the same for Fordian. All of these people, like the Rick Jones, even everyone, everyone has their lives have brought them here. Doc Samson.
Yeah, well, Doc Samson's
talk to
always...
Samson. He still looks pretty good, though. He's the one who got out of this scot-free somehow.
Well, I mean, he always looks
still
good.
ripped and
he's got that green hair.
Hair and ripped bod.
That's this guy right here.
I mean, come on.
Doc Samson. But the thing is like, oh god, he's such a shrink. He's the psychologist of the Marvel universe.
You want to talk to Samson?
Look at that guy. Boom. He's got the good gamma, but he's not.
An hour.
He can't beat the hell out of the Hulk.
He's gamma-powered psychiatrist, man.
Yeah.
Oh, helpful.
He really thinks a lot of himself.
He's got 28-inch pythons.
Let's run through these previews really quick. This is what's coming out tomorrow for New Comic Book Day.
Ooh.
If you do Twitter,
hit me.
You can do like hashtag NCBD. That's what we do. NCBD. Follow us on Fantastic Comics. If you're interested, you can donate money to us on Patreon. We have an Instagram account, Facebook account, Twitter account. It's all Fantastic Comics. There you go. Anyway, previews. We've got He-Man, the Masters of the Multiverse.
He-Man.
It's a 6-issue mini. It's written by Tim Seeley, and it has art by Dan Fraga. Boom.
Oh, really? Dan Fraga back in the game.
Back in the game.
I've
seen him on YouTube drawing. He has a station. He's good, but the stuff that he does that's really good is not usually comic book stuff.
Oh.
But it's pretty cool.
He's making the exception for this He-Man comic.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, He-Man usually sells pretty well in our store. I don't usually go and get a ton of them, but I definitely got more this time. So there you go.
Masters of the Universe.
Multiverse. Yeah. All right. Speaking of multiverse, we have a.
Whoa. Who's publishing it?
DC.
Masters of the Multiverse. That means there could be a monitor involved, and we could be in the DC multiverse.
That's why I got more to see for myself. All right. So next up, we have 2099. This is spinning out of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, the last 2 issues. I've got more of them if you're interested. It's just a little event where you're going to read this and you're going to read Fantastic Four 2099, which also comes out this week. And then a couple other ones that you might remember from the past brought to today. And it's just this one little storyline that's going to be out for like a month or two. So this is 2099 Alpha. This is number 1, if you will. I mean, it's only ever going to be number 1 because there will be an Omega, which will end it. And it's written by Nick Spencer, who is the Amazing Spider-Man writer. And it is art by Victor Bogdanovich, who has done really cool things for DC.
So what you're saying is
New Superman and Silencer, etc.
No Peter David and no Rick Leonardi.
Not in this one, but like I said, there's a Fantastic Four, a Punisher, a Ghost Rider, a Hulk that are going to be coming out.
2099.
All right, so you know how I just said there's an Alpha and an Omega, and there's going to be these other stories that are going to be in between? Marvel's also doing Annihilation, Scourge, Alpha, and it's going to be the same thing. There's going to be an Annihilation, Scourge, Nova, Beta Ray Bill, Silver Surfer. I don't remember what else.
Who's
Fantastic
doing Beta
Four.
Ray Bill? Do you know? I love Beta Ray Bill.
Beta Ray Bill. I think it's going to be good. This one's written by Nathan Edmondson, though.
Oh, all right. Okay.
It doesn't say who's doing it. People like Silver Surfer. I think this is going to be a good series. So it's going to be quick, and I know that one of them is going to be written by Abnett or Lanning. I can't remember which one.
No, it's got to be Abnett. We haven't seen Lanning for years.
That's right.
No one has seen Lanning.
I think Abnett killed him.
I'm pretty sure he's in the negative zone now.
Oh, that might be him.
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't that slander?
Here's that Fantastic Four.
This new Annihilation wave might be Lanning trying to get back.
Oh man. I hope he does make it back then.
And DNA.
Maybe he'd be like, yeah, that's sad.
The reformation of DNA would be epic.
Epic. It would be epic. Yeah. It'd be like putting on a suit of armor and punching the Hulk out. Boom. Fantastic Four 2099. That's that other book I was telling you about that's coming out. This is written by Carla Pacheco. I don't know.
You love Pacheco.
I like Carlos Pacheco. I don't know if there's anything. And Stephen Cummings is doing the artwork. It's a one shot. So
I've heard you love Cummings.
I love more cock.
Oh, sorry.
It's totally different.
My bad.
Teen Titans. This is an acetate cover. This is cool. Look at this. So that's Crush, I think her name is.
Yeah. Lobo's daughter.
Look at that. The Titans.
How did that happen? He's the last Sarnian. How does he have a daughter?
He gets horny, man.
He gets horny?
I guess so.
No.
All right. So in the last
Sarnian, every drop of blood of his creates a clone. So
It wasn't a drop of blood, dude.
I don't get it.
I'm saying, like, so if a drop of blood, I don't know, whatever.
No, I didn't say Fantastic Four 420. I said Fantastic Four 2099.
Oh, 420.
420.99. Yeah. Woo. All right. So this is a Teen Titans comic book. The last 2 issues, we found out that there was a traitor in the midst of the Teen Titans. And we found out who it was. And it's very, very upsetting. And what that person did was they took the ring that Jin, the genie that is part of their team.
Oh, they have a genie? I haven't been.
It's pretty sweet. I like this series a lot. And Lobo's daughter. Anyway, it looks like he's coming back to cause some problems.
Oh, boy.
And yeah, this has been a really, really good series ever since I started reading it.
The main man?
The main man, yeah, exactly.
Is he gonna frag some
it's written by Adam Glass,
he's
who
probably
did.
Gonna frag some bastards.
He's gonna frag his daughter. Is what he's gonna do. These acetate covers are tough to work with.
They are pretty nice, though.
They are nice. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, they're cool.
Anyway, there's the main man right there, smoking a cigar. Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
Take that, Joe Quesada.
Take that, Joe Quesada. Well, no, I mean that's what I'm saying. Garth Ennis.
Sorry, take that, Joe Quesada's dad or whoever.
Well, Garth Ennis had a problem with cigarette smoking, but he never had a problem writing it. And it's like it's such a stark difference between him doing what he does and what Joe Quesada ultimately did for Marvel. Whereas Wolverine, a guy who can heal, he has no problem smoking a cigar.
Yeah, that's great. That's the difference between a libertarian and a neoliberal.
I guess. I mean, yeah.
One is just like, look, I don't believe in smoking, but
wait, Quesada that doesn't make him a neoliberal. Cool. It's just
it does.
His
like,
life.
I want to impose.
No, he's more.
Look, I think smoking is wrong, so you guys shouldn't be able to look at smoking because it'll make you want to smoke.
Anyway, I think this is Bernard Chang on art, and he's good too.
Agreed.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, everybody. I was shorted Green Lantern Black Stars. This is the 3-issue mini, which is the in between seasons, if you will, in Green Lantern that Grant Morrison is writing. It happens. Harmonico is the artist.
Scottish. Sorry.
Give me a break. Scots. Give me a break. Anyway, Grant Morrison. If Jeff Lemire is the guy that I really like who does, all the stuff that he does these days, that guy from yesteryear was Grant Morrison. Of course, I don't know. Has he ever written as much as Jeff Lemire?
No, probably not.
Yeah, Jeff Lemire, though, it does spread him a little thin. It would be nice to see his. Well, I mean, he does things that are personal. You can tell the difference. Speaking of Jeff Lemire, this is the last book I'm going to show you guys for tomorrow. I would rush in to get this. There are 2 different covers. It really doesn't matter which one. This is written by Jeff Lemire with Dennis Cohen doing artwork, Bill Sienkiewicz doing the inking, and Chris Sotomayor doing the art or the color art.
Oh, good Lord.
So the question
is,
he's Vic Sage, who's a reporter.
I'm so glad they did it this size, though.
Yeah, really.
I was really hoping that they would, and then they haven't done a lot of these DC blacks in this size. Like only the last couple.
Well, they did
Harleys,
Damned.
The Harleys, right? Damned, yes.
No, they only do them in this size, I think, really.
Oh, really?
The only other one,
just when they reprint them.
Just that Batman one that Scott Snyder is doing. Right. That's the small one.
Okay.
Although I'm sure there's something else. Oh, no, but there's that last. God, they said they got rid of Vertigo to make it less confusing.
No, it's still confusing as hell.
I'm still confused. What is this?
Anyway, I love this size because bigger art is always better for good art.
Yeah. And Dennis Cohen is wonderful.
Dennis Cohen is a god.
So
who just doesn't get enough credit and hasn't had enough credits.
Can I see some?
So yes, you're looking at the cover right there.
Previous question.
He did the question back in the 90s when it was written by Denny O'Neil.
And it was like it went on for a long.
It went on for like 30 some odd issues. I don't think he was there all the way to the end. And Bill Sienkiewicz never was really involved. But he's cool now. I mean, so Dennis Cohen's good. He helped found Milestone for DC, or which DC published. And that was like the all-black creator, black comic book character imprint back in the, early 90s? Mid-90s, something like that.
Early mid.
That's where like
94.
A lot of people know McDuffie from there. I can't think of all the other people, but then eventually there were like, John Byrne did a cover. He's not black. So the question, Vic Sage is a reporter, and a reporter who's always trying to ask the questions. And he goes out and fights crime in Hub City. And he tries to get, he's the kind of guy that is involved in busting like politicians and that kind of stuff.
And this was a reclamation of the character from
Charlton,
right? Like severely Ayn Randian origins.
I don't know, because I know that Steve Ditko created the character, helped create the character.
Right. And Steve Ditko is a notorious Randian freak. And Denny O'Neil is a notorious
bleeding
liberal
heart.
Yeah, exactly. Of the times. He was a 70, at the times he was known for his bleeding heart liberal takes on everything.
See Green Lantern, Green Arrow.
Right, exactly.
Great stuff.
So yeah, highly recommend that and this.
Yeah, so I'm looking. I mean, I only read about the first 5 pages, but I feel that Jeff Lemire already has a very good feel for the character. And since we're getting the original artist from the series and we have a really good inker working on it, it's just a really nice looking product that I'm looking forward to. I hope there's a mystery that needs to be solved, or he has to get to the heart of something to bust something up. And he wears an adhesive mask. It forms to his face, and it's like blank, so you can't see what he looks like. And,
he is related to a character that you may have experienced in other media if you're not a book reader. Yeah.
Very good, Etienne. All right. See, the Charlton characters that DC bought came over, and in them were the Question and Captain Atom and the Blue Beetle and other characters. And those were the ones that Alan Moore was going to write for Watchmen.
Dr. Manhattan and Owlman.
What
was his name? Captain Owl.
Yeah. Captain. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, something like that.
Big Owl.
Blue Owl. Owlman. I don't remember. He's the fat guy. That's what he is.
How dare you?
How dare I? The old fat guy. I mean, I'm sorry. The bespectacled one, whatever. So there you go. That's what's coming out next or tomorrow. This NCBD.
That sounds cool. Hey, does he have a superpower?
No, all right. So check this out. In the first issue of Denny O'Neil's and Dennis Cohen's Question that came out in the 90s, he gets beat up with a crowbar or something like that. He gets shot in the head. He gets dumped in the water, and it's freezing cold.
Yep.
And that's like the reason why he lives through it.
It sounds like a superpower.
Well, it's hardly getting your ass kicked is hardly a superpower.
Surviving is a pretty good superpower.
So he gets taken.
He was in freezing cold water.
Yeah, I've heard stories.
I really think it was more when I was in high school when that came out. It might have actually been like the 80s when it came out.
Yeah, I think it was.
Because I always credit the question, and I was telling somebody earlier because I was playing Oingo Boingo and Oingo Boingo for shaping some of my my philosophical outlooks in life.
Wow.
There you go. At least at the time. It was very important. I love the question. It was cool. Unfortunately, they're not all available in reprinted form, but they shouldn't be too expensive. So there's got to be a comic store somewhere that has them.
I have the trade paperbacks at my house on my shelf. They are not here. They are not going to be coming onto the do I or do I not want to sell them? Because
they won't.
Do not want to sell them.
I do not want to sell them.
No, they're staying.
Here we go. So that's on your top what list.
I also have all the Greg Rucka questions.
Wait. What was that, ATM?
I'm sorry, my mic's far away. Does Jeff have a top numbered list of like, does this belong on it? And like, how far up the list is it if you have one?
Wait, what does...
You mean the question?
Yeah. The stuff that you're not selling.
Oh, no. I mean, I don't have a list. It's ever changing. In fact,
yeah, sure.
I'm always looking at my shelf trying to say, what can I get rid of? What can I get rid of? What can I get rid of?
Will you ever get rid of All-Star Superman?
No. I mean, I have absolute All-Star Superman. I have hardcover 2-volume All-Star Superman, and I think I also have the soft. I might get rid of the soft if I still have it. I might have already gotten rid of it. But, you know, I'm always going to have at least two different media. Like, same thing with all my favorite shit, like that Green Lantern, that Seth Fisher.
Yeah.
Green Lantern.
You have 2 different versions of that?
Yeah, at least.
Nice.
No, I have 3, I'm sure, because I have the $7.99 comic book one that came out a couple years ago.
Seth Fisher died suddenly, and he was young. And crazy's outside. And he died, jumping roofs in Japan?
Right.
Or falling off a roof in Japan.
Right.
Definitely drunkenly.
Right, like he was right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is what it is.
So it's a proud moment.
That's how I'd fall off a roof. It would be drunk. Or I fell off a roof, you know.
But, yeah, he's a drunken parkour enthusiast.
So he was a really great artist, though, and he did Will World for Green Lantern. Will World.
Yeah, so I have the soft cover of it. I have a hard cover of it. I used to have 2 hard covers of it, but I gave one to Cody for his birthday this year.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Nice birthday present.
That's how you know. Anyway, so you know, and then I also, I'm sure somewhere I have that $7.99 comic book version that came out last year.
What are you laughing about? Did I miss something?
Fantinuum. About the cape. About the short cape. You just put a mental image in my head, and now I can't.
It's not like
see it.
Dude, the Shazam cape is dope, though.
Do you know who the Purple Marauder is?
Do I know who the Marauder is?
The Purple Marauder is a character in Poison Elves who wears a cape and a G-string and a mask and a big floppy hat and has a rapier, and he goes around and he wears a short cape. Yeah, he's ridiculous, and it's funny. Thank you, Fantinuum, for giving me back my memory.
Giving you it back.
Well, I'd forgotten.
He took it from you.
Oh, damn it.
I'm a fan of the half cape, the Captain Marvel
What about a front cape? I mean,
sorry.
Why does it have to be on the back? Why can't it be a really long bib on the front? Like when you're flying through the air, take my word for it, you want something protecting this part, from bugs and birds. Probably want a face mask too. I mean,
if you're protecting your shirt from barbecue sauce,
or flight.
If you're flying, you definitely want
goggles. The cape in the front. Yeah, you want the cape in the front. Nobody flies through the air backwards, right? Nobody.
If you have flight, but you don't have invulnerability of any kind, then you need a suit, like an atmospheric suit. Like if you have speed, if you have flight of any kind of speed and you're going to use it to transport yourself from place to place, but you don't have physical invulnerability, then a fucking cape is going to be torn to shreds.
Why does the Flash wear a cape?
I can fly 100 miles an hour, but guess what? Or if you're the Flash and I can run at supersonic speeds, but what if you didn't have a suit that could could withstand that, and so all of your skin and ripped off of your body?
Does Superman's cape have special qualities that keeps it from fraying like a dated flag?
Don't tug on Superman's cape.
At one time, yes.
At one time, yes.
In the old days, it was made from a cloth that was indestructible.
It was Kryptonian. It was the blankie in which he was wrapped.
He was swaddled,
Swaddled, It was his swaddling clothes.
Oh, like Jesus.
And they were like,
and if it was indestructible, how'd she sew it into a cape?
She had an indestructible needle, duh.
More indestructible was the rocket ship that he arrived in.
God, it's just such a beautiful story.
Arrived.
Yeah, I heard the crazy guy. Is that him?
It's just people.
I
mean, they could be crazy. I mean, most other are, right?
Yes, let's not split hairs here.
We had someone said Spawn and Batman's cape are the coolest. The one thing about Spawn's cape is that at least it's magical.
Yeah, and you can tug on it.
And you can. Well, I wouldn't.
I mean, what happens if you tug on it?
You can't tug on Spawn's cape.
No,
you can or cannot.
No one ever heard.
He says since you haven't heard it, you can. You don't tug on Superman's cape.
I wouldn't have thought to, but all right.
Spit in the wind.
Spit in the wind. Piss up a rope. I got it.
You don't mess around with Jim. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. These are the things you don't do in life.
Yeah, I mean they've been documented in songs, so they're
you don't pull the mask of the old Lone Ranger.
Oh, I've heard that song. Yeah, okay.
Pull the ring off of the Green Lantern.
Well, you can't anyway. It's impossible.
Right.
It's supposed to be impossible. I mean, it's always the threat on the cover of the comic, like, I'm going to cut his ring finger off, but it's like, you can't do that.
Come up here. How about up here? Bicep. Cut it off at the
bicep. Berserkly.
Yeah. Great town. Lovely, beautiful place.
Beautiful place.
Gorgeous.
Well, ATN. Let's.
We're not messing around with Jim.
Let's finish this episode by letting everybody know that it's going to be you and me only next week.
We will miss you, Jeff, and good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're rooting for you.
Many well wishes.
Thank you. I'll take it.
So, hey, if anybody wants to help with that recovery, you can buy one of those books from his bookshelf.
Yes, cocaine is not cheap.
That's right. Or if you can go to Costa Rica and find it for him.
I'll go with you. I will go with you. Let's go.
Awesome.
I would love it. Please wear a body cam or some sort of other.
Live stream the event so that yes. It would be great, It would be great. Drug smuggling live streamed. Jump in the submarine, everybody. Woo!
I mean, I feel like you could get a lot of we could crowdsource this thing because
Dude,
you get a lot of funding.
Yeah,
you get a lot of funding.
It would be entertaining at the very least to people watching. It might be a horror to live through, but
sure.
Are we talking about the show?
I'm talking entertainment in general.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Okay, so next week we'll just be the two of us.
It's just us two, and who knows where I'll be. If the order came as early as it did this week, we would be doing it from my place.
Okay. You still got your fancy internet skills though at your house. It's cool. You got a new microphone you might want to work on though, huh?
Is it not sounding good again?
No, it's fine. It's just has some problems.
I'm very upset with this.
I'll tell you more later because I'm editing the other one right now. I'm not editing that one. So
okay.
I'll know more later. But it's 4.5 hours long, dude.
We suck.
That's long.
That is why we're going chapter to chapter.
All right, sounds good.
It's too long.
Anyway, everybody, you don't need to hear about that until we actually get that stuff up. One last thing I want to say is
love you.
I am also part of the Wrestling Council, which is every Thursday at 7 o'clock PST, 10 o'clock EST. And this week, it's going to be on Ikari Press's channel. So you can go to Ikari Press. You can also follow that dude on all those other platforms you can expect to find people on platforms on.
I also just want to say, just in case I don't make it, and this is my last appearance in life on anything. I just want to say to all the people who I've ever had a conflict with, fuck you forever, and I hate you, and I hope everyone who's ever thought a bad thing about me dies. And if I do live, I will walk all of this back. I guarantee it.
Don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you want to see any of that wrestling stuff that I do on my channel, that's Ewell Carter, UELCARTER. See you next week, everybody. Goodbye.
Good night.
Good night.